The Utah Jazz had a very interesting season last season, especially starting off the year with a very hot start. They cooled down by the end of the season, and they ended up not even making the playoffs. However, the Jazz do have a bright future ahead of them with multiple young players on the roster. Lauri Markkanen had an incredible year last year for the Utah Jazz. If you drafted him in fantasy basketball, actually, he was a steal. He was one of the best players, late round sleepers, and that actually leads me into a segue in the sense of I will be posting fantasy basketball content when time comes. Regardless, Markkanen, incredible year last year. Walker Kessler was a huge find by the Utah Jazz, and honestly, his numbers were pretty similar to Rudy Gobert's last year. And Kessler is going to be a great center going forward for the Utah Jazz. So these two players obviously still young, 26, 22. Clarkson was pretty good last year for the Jazz. He's a little bit older. He's just signed a contract extension with them. However, he's still very productive. They did make a trade for John Collins. They didn't really give up anything for him, in my opinion. Rudy Gay's about to retire, so getting Collins is actually pretty big, in my opinion. He's got a big, hefty contract on him, but we'll see if he can return more to form this season now with the Utah Jazz. Colin Sexton is now also he's going to be starting this year with no Mike Conley on the roster because Conley got traded. Sexton did start at the end of the year before he got injured. But Sexton should be pretty good, but hopefully he can return to form in those years with the Cats, especially this year. 2021, he had 24 points a game. I mean, Sexton might not be the best defensively. He's not the best playmaking guard. However, he can score he can score. And Kelly Olynyk is pretty solid off the bench. I was surprised they didn't trade him. However, Olynyk be very good off the bench. Horton Tucker's still young. Abaji's still here going into his second season. They drafted Taylor Hendricks. They drafted Keontae George. The Utah Jazz have a very good core going forward. Now you just need time for them to develop. And honestly, that means that they might not make the playoffs this year. They still might. However, I wouldn't put to them. I would say the Jazz are more likely to make the playoffs the following season, but you never know. Here's the lineup that the Jazz will be rocking with this season. We have Colin Sexton, Jordan Clarkson, Lauri Markkanen, John Collins, Walker Kessler, and off the bench we're going to be having Kelly Olynyk, Taylor Horton Tucker, Taylor Hendricks, Baji, and Keontae George. Let's see if the Utah Jazz can make the playoffs this year, according to 2K. However, I wouldn't be shocked if they don't. But the Jazz have a very exciting young core going forward, and a lot of credit to Danny Ainge. Nikola Jokic is your MVP this season. He had 22 points and he had a triple-double as well. Wembanyama wins Rookie of the Year for the Spurs. Chris Paul, Sixth Man of the Year. Jaren Jackson Jr. wins Defensive Player of the Year 2 years in a row now. Sengun, Most Improved Player. We do not end up with any players on the All-NBA team. That's unfortunate. But we're looking at the player stats. Lauri led the way in scoring with 22 points and 8 rebounds a game. That's exactly what I was expecting for him. He had an incredible season this year as well for the Jazz. Clarkson was next with 17 points a game and 5 assists. Pretty much what you expect from him. Sexton, I thought he was going to score a little bit more, 14 points. But, it will do. John Collins had 13 points and 5 rebounds. Honestly, for $25 million, that's not really that good. Walker Kessler, though, 12 points. He had 11 rebounds, and he also had 3 blocks a game. That's very good from Walker Kessler. I know you're thinking, Collins only averaged, just a couple zero point 0.6 points per game more than Kessler this season. However, Kessler, obviously, with more rebounds, the same amount of assists, more steals, more blocks. He's much more efficient and a much better player. Horton Tucker had 11 game off the bench. Hendricks had 10 points and 5 rebounds a game off the bench in his rookie season. That's pretty good. Olynyk had the same. Baji had 7. George did all right in his time, but and we did not make the playing game at all. We went 38 and 44, which was not good enough to make the playing game. The Utah Jazz, I still think had a solid season. This is exactly pretty realistic in my opinion. Simulation for next season. However, the Timberwolves win in 52 games there. As you can see, I don't think that's realistic, but that's 2K for you. However, I think the Jazz next season, if they do it again, be pretty good. And we're gonna see actually what happens there. So we're gonna go into next season with the Utah Jazz. We're gonna simulate the playoffs here, and then we're gonna go from there. So I will see you at that point. See if we make any moves too. First, though, we have the Lakers-Celtics NBA Finals, and Jason Tatum is your Finals MVP. Celtics won 4-2 in that series. That's very good. I was actually kind of hoping for a Lakers-Celtics Finals this year, but that didn't happen. So here's the lineup that we'll be rocking for next season. It's pretty similar in all honesty. The only difference is we don't have Kelly Olynyk this year. Kelly Olynyk signed elsewhere in the offseason, and I'd let that go because I do think Kelly Olynyk is not going to resign with the Jazz. However, I could be wrong, so it's still going to be Sexton, Clarkson, Markkanen, Collins, Kessler. We're going to have the Hendricks off the bench to get more playing time with Abaji, Horton Tucker, Keontae George, and Yurt 7 will be playing off the bench for us. Let's see. Hopefully the Jazz are a little bit better this season. Player stats, Lawyer had 23 points, 7 rebounds a game, exactly what you're expecting from him. Clarkson, 15 points, 5 assists. Sexton had 15 points a game, 15 points again. Collins, 14-5. I wish he could score a little bit more, but that's what it is. Hendricks had 13 points, 6 rebounds a game. That's actually very good for him, and he's a very exciting young player here for the Jazz. Baji had 11 a game. Bit of improvement here. Kessler had 10 points, 11 rebounds, and 2 blocks. He's very good starting center. He's exactly what you want from a starting center right now. Not the best shooter, however, it doesn't really matter. He's providing a lot of very valuable minutes out there. Horton Tucker had 10. Keontae George had 8. Yurt 7 had 4. But the big thing is now we actually made the play-in game. We went 45-37. So like I said, we were going to be a little bit better. I didn't say that we were going to win the NBA championship. However, it's still possible, but the odds of that happening pretty low. We'll be taking on the Golden State Warriors here in the first round of the play-in game. Just have some G League players in here because Klay Thompson's hurt. Christian Wood is actually on the Warriors now. He had 16 points a game, 6 rebounds for him. Let's see what 2K thinks, and we're going to win the play-in game. So now that means we'll be taking on the Memphis Grizzlies in the first round of playoffs. The Memphis Grizzlies now also have Tobias Harris on the roster. Still got Bane, Morant, Jackson, Clark, Smart, Bogdanovich too, and Aldama. Wow. All right, well, I don't think we're going to be winning this round, but we're going to simulate it anyways, and we actually win. Wow, we will 4-2 series win against the Memphis Grizzlies. So now we'll be taking on the Oklahoma City Thunder in round 2. Shea, Giddey, they got Hayward, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, Poku, Isaiah Joe, Casey Wallace. You know, this team's always good. And 2K, when you simulate a couple years out, the Oklahoma City Thunder is just always a good team. But we're going to see what happens here. We're going to simulate the round, and the Thunder actually blow a 3-1 lead to us, so now we move on as the 7th seed. We were in the playing game now. We'll be taking on the Los Angeles Lakers. They got D'Lo, Reeves, LeBron, Hachimura, Davis, Vanderbilt, Denny Avdia, Hood, Kyle Anderson, Jackson Hayes. You know, this is a good team. They still got Cam Reddish too. Wow. All right. Well, I still think we're going to lose this round. However, 2K's saying different stuff for us. And there we go. We actually finally are eliminated. However, I mean, as a Utah Jazz fan, if you made it to the Western Conference Finals like this, there's nothing to be riding home sorry about. This is a very good season for them, and it's something to look forward to next season. Lakers Celtics here, NBA Finals, and the Lakers actually win this time. Celtics won one year, Lakers win the next. That's what it is. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and hope you all enjoyed this Utah Jazz rebuild. The Utah Jazz, I still think, are a very exciting young team to watch, and Markkanen, I think, will have Marketing will have plenty of success going forward with them as long as Walker Kessler and their couple prospects. Look for them to make some big moves, and hopefully John Collins in reality does better than what he did in the simulation. If you enjoyed the video, please share, like, and subscribe for future content. Have a good day.